Okay, guys, welcome to Friday's More Training, Coaching, and Accountability Mastermind. We are on here with Coach Cathy Ryan, our cash offers queen, and we have Tim Yates, our legacy and listings pro, the founder, and just all around great tool to provide to us as agents. So, my name is Robert Weichelt. I'm with EXP, and the agents that are on this call. You don't need to be with EXP. You don't need to be. It doesn't matter. We don't care. We want to make sure that the agents that want more listings, they want to work with more buyers, more investors, more and have grow their team. I want this to be a place where you can come and go, come and grow, come and build, and come and collaborate. So I want to bring on Cathy Ryan. Cathy, why don't you jump on and tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you've got cooking?
I am a realtor. I've been a realtor for 34 years. I'm with EXP. I'm a coach and a mentor. Um, I, I'm the cash offer coach for our team, for our group. I have created Listings Advantage, the cash offer strategy, to help you get more listings. It's all about listings. Buyers are great, but if you want to sustain yourself in this business, you need listings.
Amen. And we're going to cover that in great length. I host a weekly mastermind called More Listings Mastermind Podcast. It's top agents. We're interviewing top agents from all over the country, top service providers from all over the country to help us do just that, take more listings. Cathy, I can't wait to circle back. We've got a lot of great stuff to cover. And our other co host, Tim Yates, Legacy Listings Pro founder. Tim, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you got going on, and let's make that intro.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate being here. I founded an estate planning firm with my wife, Carrie, 10 years ago, focusing on disrupting that industry, which is a multi-billion dollar industry, working hand in hand with real estate professionals. I asked myself a question: what if we turned estate planning into listing opportunities versus just a legal services transaction? And that was the beginning of this journey. And we're gonna roll this out nationwide. And I'm excited to be here to just start to give out little tidbits of where we're headed.
I love it. I think it's going to be fantastic. Our goal, guys, just to let you know, my personal goal, and I'll let Cathy speak to that, and Tim will talk about his. But as a broker, trainer, mentor, my goal is very simple. I want to empower others to grow, win, and lead with purpose. That's my number one goal. I help agents like yourself take more listings working with FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosure. The reason why pre-foreclosure is so important is because it positions you for the post-foreclosure market, the REO market. I'm an expert in working in the REO space. I have been in the REO space since the early 90s. I call it the stay alive till 95, the glue stick era. So we're going to talk about the REO market. A lot of people say, oh, it's not coming. We have too much equity in properties. Pay attention to your notice of defaults and notice of trustee sale filings in your area. I can tell you this, they're up huge. 26% that nationwide numbers are up year over year. So that's something to pay attention to. FSBOs and expireds, they're obvious. FSBOs got their hand up. Hey, world, I want to sell my home. Many of them think they can because they sold one 7 years ago, but I got news for you. Most of them do not realize all that's involved. It's a great conversation. Tell me about your house and just let them talk. That's how you start building that rapport with those people. I think I'm more of a, here's my question, here's your answer, here's my question. I'm a real quick, I don't necessarily like to know how the clock was built. I just want to know what time it is kind of approach. So I'm a little bit more straight to it, but everybody has their own way. So we're going to go into that every week. And I'm a big fan of going over the basics on a regular basis: prospecting, tracking and measuring, setting appointments every day, doing follow-up, because fortune's in the follow-up. We want to make sure that we're doing all the things we need to do to follow up. But more importantly is the sharpening your skills with scripts, with who to call, what to say, how to get the appointment, how to close the appointment, how to get the listing, how to get the highest and best price in the shortest amount of time for those things. We're going to introduce tools, how to best lead sources like My Plus Leads. I'll put it in the chat for everybody to take a look at. But that's really where I'm going to be coming from. As far as some of the things that I can help you with, not only the FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures, but the post-foreclosure market as well. So that's what you'll hear from me, and that's my area of expertise. Cathy, why don't we dive in a little bit about your area of expertise and what you're going to be adding to this call on a weekly basis?
Well, I start the conversation with offering a cash offer. Um, there's many different ways to start a conversation with a potential seller, but what I have found in the last 4 years is, since I've been working with these platforms, is it's easy to start the conversations, especially with expireds. Hey, I see your home is at 123 Main Street, has just expired. Are you still accepting offers? And I can walk in the door with multiple cash offers. The other thing too, as Robert had mentioned, I am a pre-foreclosure specialist, short sale specialist. That is my favorite niche, and they are up. I This week I pulled 27 NODs here in Menifee, California, and 5 of them were short sales.
Lots of opportunity there to help you.
So, yeah, lots of opportunity. The short sales are going to come back, especially those who purchased FHA
Mm.
since 2022, about that time. They don't have the equity. And if you look at your numbers and if you have access to InfoSparks through the MLS, you can see that prices are starting to dip a little bit. So that's what I bring to the table.
And tell us a little bit about, Cathy, about your cash offer mastermind. You dive in every Tuesday.
Yes.
Tell us, go into a little bit more detail on drop the information in the chat box if you would. I'll add
Okay.
it to the YouTube recording as well as to the Spotify podcast. But give us a little rundown on your cash offers mastermind, when it is, and what you cover.
So on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And what we go over is the different strategies on how to talk to the specific niche of potential sellers. So there is a certain way to talk to an expired. There's a certain way to talk to a for sale by owner. For sale by owners are pretty easy because you just go into the system, you instantly get a bunch of cash offers, and you talk to them. Say, hey, look, I have an offer. A buyer looking into your neighborhood is interested in your home. Tell me about it. You start the conversation. So you're not lying before, back in the day.
I got a buyer. I got a buyer.
I got a buyer. I got a buyer when you really didn't have a buyer. Well, now you legitimately have maybe 10 buyers.
Yeah, and that's
You,
good. Yeah,
you plug the property into iList, or now it's Falcon, um, into Falcon, and you get multiple offers from different entities that will only work with real estate agents. They will not take offers directly from the seller. Not like Open Door or OfferPad that you see advertised all over the place. So we go over these strategies, we role play, we go over scripts, the different products because there's different types of cash offers. And what I tell people, I tell my agents and I tell sellers, there are 2 types of cash offers. They're for profit cash offers. Those are your flippers and wholesalers. And then there's fee-based. Those are your open door offer pads and the other entities that we have, where all they charge it a fee. Usually it's around 6%. Open door and offer pad are much higher than that. And that's all they make on these properties. And there are products out there where they will come purchase the property from the seller and they partner with them. They go in and fix it up, put it back on the market with you, the agent. And if it sells for $25,000 more, that $25,000 goes back to the seller.
that's huge.
So that product works very well, especially with pre-foreclosures, because they have to sell at a discount, they have to sell fast, and this way they don't lose the upside of the market if there is some.
You know what, Cathy, also is you mentioned that Open Door and OfferPad, they're spending millions and millions of dollars on marketing.
Mm-hmm.
The institutional investors that ILIS has access to, it literally takes between 3 and 5 seconds to pull up multiple offers. And just so we're clear, cash offers are not the most desirable offer, but what it does, it gets you in the conversation. It lets you pivot if that's a property that you can pivot to, because every seller I've ever talked to, whether they want a cash offer initially or not, always wants one thing. It's the highest and best price, period. I've never had a seller ever say, Robert, get me the least amount of money for my home. What happens is these cash offers, not always attractive, but now you're in the conversation. Now you're, oh, the cash offer doesn't work for you. What were you thinking in mind? And as long as that property comps out, we have a better way to get them that highest and best price in the shortest amount of time. You're at least in the conversation. I can tell you this, Cathy, and you can probably agree with this. If I had a seller call me up and said, Robert, I only want a cash offer, nothing else. And you said, I'm sorry, I don't have access to cash offers. You're going to get set aside. And they're going to go to somebody that says, I have a cash offer solution. The agent that says, I have a cash offer solution, that offer may not go, but now you're in the conversation and show them a better way to sell. Makes sense, Cathy?
Right.
I love what you're doing. And what you do on Tuesdays is you dive in. I mean, you peel back the onion as far as many layers as you can, and you're looking at best practices. You have scripts, you have landing pages, you have all the tools to get the conversation started. And then again, a high percentage of those, once they see the cash offer, will pivot to a traditional transaction. Cathy, I appreciate what you're doing.
Well, for me, it's 100% they list. I have not had one of my sellers take that cash offer.
Yep.
Not at all. Because, and the other thing too, it's a great segue into what you do, Robert, is the online offers.
That is correct. And there's always a better way. Once you get in front of somebody, but most people think, oh, that cash offers, none of them are going to go. That's not the reason why we do cash offers. We do cash offers to keep in the conversation. Like I mentioned, if you don't have one and they're thinking they want one, they all want a cash offer until they see that cash offer. They all think they want that open door experience where they help you move and get you the most amount of money for your home. It's not how it works. So,
Cathy, yeah, the cool thing is the platform, when you review the offers with the seller, they're side by side, and you get to put your listing open market card right next to all these cash offers, so they can see the net of when they list with you versus the net of the cash offer. And every single time they will list.
Yeah, I want this one. I want this high one. What's that? How do we do that? I'm glad you asked. Let me show you. And then
more money in your pocket.
And once they see our presentation in terms of the online offers platform, transparent offers, everything is fully transparent. Compensation and how it affects the final sales price, everything. Can you imagine having a bidding war, a visual bidding war, and the sellers are watching their home go to its highest price possible? That's what the online offers platform is. And we go over that in more detail at another time. But Cathy, what else do you want to add before we go into our other co-host, Tim Yates?
This is an amazing tool to have in your toolbox, and a lot of the agents don't have it. So you can outbeat your competition on a listing appointment, hands down. You're going to be the number one pick.
And isn't that what it's all about?
Yes,
absolutely. I love it. Cathy and I will be here towards the end. Tim's got some great information to share with you today, guys. So get out your notepads. Make sure you're putting your questions in the chat box. Tim's going to really show you some really great things, how we're taking more listings by using estate planning and just at the end of the day, creating a legacy for our clients. And we become the trusted advisor. We don't just buy and help people buy and sell homes. We're protecting their future. So Tim, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you because I know there's a few things that you want to share, and I'm going to move that up right now. Give me 1 second, guys, while I cue it up. Here's Tim's pretty face right there. I love it. Let me make this a presentation so you guys can see it. Can you see it okay, Tim?
Yeah. Yep. I can see it. I had a little more hair back then. Just a couple.
Well, everybody, let me introduce you to Tim Yates. Tim, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into this. We're all busy. We got a lot of stuff going on. So we're going to talk about the Legacy Pro mindset. This is something that I don't care if you've been in real estate for 1 month or 30 years. What we're going to teach you is something completely different. It's a different angle, a different way to approach relationships. And it's something that we know it works. We've been beta testing this for many years now, and we're ready to start rolling it out on a big scale. And we're excited about it. So we're going to jump into the Legacy Listings Pro mindset. And we're just going to dabble a little bit in this first series here, and we're going to go from there. So Robert, cue up the next slide for me because we're going to
go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and do content only so you can go into a really deep dive. Here you go. There you go, Tim. You are ready to go. Week 1.
All right, fantastic. So here's the thing you guys got to realize that 99.9% of real estate agents, let's just say any professionals, CPAs, attorneys, financial planners, everyone, their whole focus is not in the right area. They're focusing on transactions, but they're not focusing on life events. So we're actually, Robert, I'm going to start training you to get out of that mindset of talking about using estate planning for your business. It's going to be the focus is on life events. All of the life events that encompass a real estate transaction or that lead up to a real estate transaction. And we're going to dive deep into those areas. And the best part about it is that we offer legal services for all these life events. But estate planning is still going to be everyone's bread and butter because that is still the largest gap of people that don't have the protection that they need throughout their life. So we're gonna dive into that as well. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, there we go. All right. So you guys, I mean, here's the funny thing. I remember when I first started, dipping my toe into the real estate industry, more from a learning, studying perspective, not to become an agent, but more about just the fascination I had with the business model and the fascination I had with the individual agents, whether they're a solo agent or on a team or they're trying to build their own team. And the first thing that I noticed, though, is you would have an agent that would successfully close a transaction, and then they would celebrate it. I'll never forget seeing some of the newer, younger agents. They would celebrate it by literally going to Europe for a month. I made, $30,000. I'm jumping on an airplane. Hey, God bless them. Great for them. They're single. They're not, they don't have any kids. They don't have any responsibilities. Have at it. Have fun. But then again, they would go celebrate and then they have to repeat over again and then move on to that next lead and then hope they could rinse and repeat. They would literally, as most agents do, you disappear from the client. 5 to 7 years later, you contact those people wanting to know if they are thinking of buying or selling, only to realize that they've already done that once or twice since the last time you did it with them. If I had a nickel for every time that I had an agent that said, I have a moat built around my database, there's no way they would ever work with another agent, and only to find out that they did, I'd have a lot of money right now. Because as you know, it happens to everyone. This is not a knock on anybody. This is just the reality of the business cycle or the life cycle of a relationship. Again, it's all based on transaction, but not life events. And we're going to teach you how to understand what triggers a life event and what actually is a life event and how to capitalize on that with a real estate transaction. Does that make sense? Are we good?
Absolutely.
All right. Here's the thing that people don't realize, especially in real estate. Homeowners do not think about real estate every day, every week, every month, every year. They rarely think about it, to be honest with you. The majority of them don't. They buy their home and then they focus on living their life. Okay. They're not thinking about real estate the way agents think about real estate. But you know what they experience, as we all do? Life events. We all have life events. These life events are what trigger real estate decisions. Okay? Repeat after me. Life events are what trigger real estate decisions. That's the missing piece that agents don't focus on. That's what our system allows you to focus on and build upon that. So again, this is the most important takeaway that you guys are going to have. Write that down because that is going to change your business model. Life events are what trigger real estate decisions. Now let's talk about some life events. Next slide, please.
All right, let's go. This is good stuff, man.
All right. What are life events, you guys? If I said, okay, life events, you're gonna come up with some of these things. You're gonna say, marriage, divorce, You're going to talk about retirement. As we all get older, I always joke, like Facebook now went from like being a cool thing to like, hey, everybody's out partying to now everybody's complaining about their physical issues. Hey, how was that hip surgery, Robert? you know, remember when we were young, walking into a room with our parents and listening to them talk to their friends about all their aches and pains and stuff like that? And it'd be like, what the hell's going on here? Guess what? The cycle of life. We're now doing the same darn thing. I find myself doing that all the time, going, man, how was that shoulder surgery? Hey, pickleball's dangerous, man. I have a lot of people that have blown out their Achilles to that stuff. So you want to make sure that you understand life events. So again, marriage, children, inheritance. Here's the thing too. People inherit stuff all the time, and that triggers life events. But most agents never know when their clients actually inherit something unless the client actually calls them up and says, hey, Robert, I just inherited $10 million. Let's go house shopping. Most of the time, it's done behind the scenes. Nobody even knows about it. Okay. Obviously, divorce is something that a lot of agents will focus on building relationships with family law attorneys because, unfortunately, divorce triggers real estate events, right? And then you look at other areas, though, business growth. If you have clients in your database, you better know if they're business owners. You better know if they're climbing the corporate ladder, because every time that they move up, that is an opportunity for you to reach out to them about a real estate discussion. Hey, congratulations. I saw you just got promoted to become the chief executive officer, at Sun Microsystems. Let's go house shopping in Rancho Santa Fe immediately, right? So again, you better be dialed in with the life events of your clients and understand that obviously health changes is a big one as we get older, and retirement too is another big area that we need to focus on. So again, every one of these events, you guys, creates a real estate decision, whether you know it or not. And in most cases, you do not know that. Again, you need to be a part of their life to understand life changes. And if you are the agent that is only part of a transaction, you're missing out on multiple real estate transactions throughout their life. And we're gonna, in fact, next week's class, I'm gonna talk about how you're missing out on $2 to $3 million in this whole thing. Okay. Let's talk about the hidden opportunity again. Between every transaction, there are years of life events happening, as I listed out, okay? Now, again, the problem we have as agents is staying on top of those life events. Having those people look at you, Robert, as the person that they go to, as the person that solves their problems. You know that saying, hey, I got a guy? People love to talk that mob mentality. Hey, you need someone to disappear. I got a guy. I got a guy for that job, right? I got a guy. Well, you want to become that guy. You want to become that gal. Now, I'm not saying become an expert in disposing of people's remains. I'm talking about being that person who they go to as the first phone call they make when all these life events happen. They're not looking at you as, I just only call Robert when I need to buy or sell, or my neighbor listed their property and I want to get some issues. They know that they need to go to Robert for everything because Robert is the guy that points them in the right direction. And once you do that, you are going to change your life and your business forever. You are going to have more deals than you've ever had in your entire life because of this. All right. You can tell I'm passionate, excited about this because, man, it is a game changer and we're going to change the game, period. All right. Next one. All right. The legacy listing pro philosophy, again, this is what it's going to come down to. We are not going to chase transactions. Okay. Write that down. I will not chase transactions. That's another one to write down. I will not chase transactions. Okay. Your job is to protect homeowner relationships. Now, that also means non-homeowner relationships as well. We're talking relationships, period, because a non-homeowner right now is going to be a homeowner, all right, and vice versa. So you want to make sure you protect those relationships, all right? Because here's the reality of it, you guys. I have been mapping this out for years now. If you actually inject yourself in these life relationships with your clients, the listings are going to follow, and they're going to follow tenfold, because it's not just that relationship with that one person, it's the 250 relationships behind that person. Do you know every human being on planet Earth has a connection to approximately 250 other people? Now, when I mean connection, it's a connection where they know you, who you are. They know your name. If you called them up, they wouldn't be like, hey, I don't know who Robert is. I don't know who Tim is. They'll like, yeah, I know Tim Yates, or I know Robert Weichelt. I know them, right? 250. So we're going to teach you how to gain access to not just winning that one person over for all their life events. We're going to teach you how to win them over for their 250 contacts behind them, and their 250 contacts, and on and on and on. Next thing you know, you're going to have a database of 20,000 people that are looking at you as their life advisor. That's going to change your life forever, as it will change theirs. All right, next one. All right. The conversation that opens the door. Again, we've talked about this, right? When you start talking to people about, relationships, agents always wonder, how do I make phone calls to my database without it sounding salesy? Or how do I call people up and talk to them about non-real estate related items? Because when you become their legacy advisor, when you call them up, they're not going, oh God, Robert's calling me again. I know he's going to ask if I'm thinking of buying and selling. Or, oh God, here's Cathy. No, I love you guys. You guys are awesome, but I'm using you as an example because you get pegged as that person that has that tag behind you. It's Robert's only real estate. No, Robert's now my life person. He's my go-to legacy person, period, right? So when you start looking at the very basics of our program, it starts with the easiest conversation and the easiest thing for you to find out. Out of curiosity, do you currently have your home in a living trust, Robert? Now, when you guys are at your next family gathering, your next, hey, let's go get together, have dinner with this couple, man, you need to be asking that question simply. Hey, you know what? Let me ask you something. Is your home in a living trust? And then you get into the conversation. Because Robert, what are the numbers for that? How many people don't have a living trust in the state of California?
Well, the stats that I'm showing are 9 out of 10. That's 87.3 is the number, but that's almost 9 out of 10 people do not have it. That's huge. That's a huge opportunity for us agents to have a conversation.
That's a game changer. Now, when you ask that question, you're going to get one of three responses. When you ask, hey, Robert, is your home in a living trust? You're going to get either, actually, no, or, hey, actually, I'm not sure. That's actually a very common one. And then, you know what? I've been meaning to do that. Right. And that's the reality of it. You know what's really sad about this is every day I like to look at the court calendars for probate cases in all 58 counties just to see how backlogged it's getting. It holds steady, 12 to 18 months backlog in court cases. And that doesn't need to happen. Again, I mean, to me, here's the simple thing you guys need to understand. And what I'm going to start off with my webinars is talking about, look at all human beings. One day we're going to leave planet Earth. You have two choices when that happens. Do I leave my family a public mess with the state of California involved in a public affair, which is all public information, and the state of California decides everything? Or do I want to keep it a private affair between my family and I and make sure it's private and my family gets everything that I worked hard for? That's your choice. Most people want to choose private, but guess what happens? They end up being what? Public. And it's because they don't have people like you in their life that's going to make sure that these life events are taken care of. Make sense?
It certainly does, my friend.
All right. 2 more slides and we're almost out of here, all right? I want to make this short and sweet for right now, okay? Again, most agents compete for leads, all right? Legacy Listings Pro agents build lifelong, life-term relationships. That's what we do. I say homeowner in there, but I'm going to be honest with you. It should be everybody. It doesn't need to be just homeowner specific. All right. And then here's the thing, though. I'm going to call I'm not going to call people out by name right now, but here's the reality of it. We have people that just joined our network or are in our system right now that still haven't taken advantage of getting a family trust for themselves, even though it's basically practically for free. And we still have a lot of people that have not referred any of their own family members to get this done. So again, it has to start with you guys. It has to start with you internally. And I'm going to be honest, as we grow this business and this model, there's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity for everybody right now that's going to be a part of this journey with me. Again, I'm one person, I can't do it all. But we're going to make sure, though, that in order for you to become a legacy advisor, you better have first taken care of your own family. Because I'm not going to allow you to be a legacy advisor and be a part of our team if I know you haven't gotten your own estate plan done and you haven't protected your own family, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your children, your grandchildren, whatever. Because then there's no room for you. I'm sorry. I don't want to be harsh, but there's no room for you in what we're going to do. You're either going to do it or you're not. So again, everyone that I'm talking to does belong here. Every person that we know is going to belong in this program, and they need to become the person that leaves a private event for their family, not a public spectacle. And that's what probate is, a public spectacle. All right. Last but not least, I think, I don't know, I haven't memorized these slides, so I'm always curious to see what's next. Oh, yes. Okay, next week, this is what I'm really excited about. We are going to uncover what I call the $2.8 million agent mistake. All right. And this is why most agents unknowingly lose millions in listings over their career. So we're going to get right down into the thick of it next week. And you're not going to want to miss this one. And you're going to want to invite other people to this because we're going to dive deep into this. And you're going to actually, unfortunately, at least for right now, you're going to reflect back and go, man, I've missed out on a lot of money right now. I should be a multimillionaire right now. But you know what? It's never too late. I have a saying, and I tell my children this all the time. It's not how you start life, it's how you finish life. That is a big understanding of it. It's never too late. As long as you have a breath in your body, it's never too late to completely change your life, change your business, no matter what age you're at, no matter what your health status is. And that's an important thing to understand. So we're going to uncover that. Now, if there's anybody on this call right now that hasn't, that's not part of our inner circle yet, our team, here's an opportunity to become part of it. Okay. We have a very simple program. All you have to do is scan this QR code. It's going to take you to a questionnaire little application that we ask that you fill out. And it's because we want to get to know you. I want to get to know you. I want to make sure you're a right fit for our program. I'm going to be honest. We are not going to just let anybody in. I want this to be a very exclusive club of people that are like-minded, people that are passionate like I am to build something special. So scan QR code, fill out the questionnaire. Our team will review it. If you get accepted, you'll be notified. If you don't get accepted, that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person, a bad business person. It just means that you're not the right fit for what we're looking for. Scan the QR code. Let's get started. Let's rock and roll. Let's do next week. Thank you for your time.
All scanned up, man, ready to go. Tim, thank you so much for bringing that great info. You know, what's funny is I'm finding myself just writing all these notes, and you and I've talked about this multiple times, and what the amazing tool it is for agents to reach out to their database. I was thinking about this when you talked about have your family around the table. I literally was having a virtual go around the table, and I was looking at every single one of my brothers' families. I mean, everyone, and I would say those numbers are pretty accurate. I mean, that's an amazing amount of people that we can become the trusted advisor, Tim. And that's where it really struck a chord with me. I do try to be that guy that if somebody wants to paint their home, I want them to call me. I got a guy. You want carpet, you want paint, you want a trust, you want anything you need. I want them to contact me. And I've always kind of run my business that way. That's why this is such a huge tool. So thank you, Tim. I look forward to, now this is an 8-week series you're doing. You'll be coming on this particular call right here, sharing what you did today, but in 7 more sessions of this to really dive in. So we're super excited by that. I can't wait.
Looking forward to it, my friend. Thank you so much.
Anything else to add in closing for that? And then what we'll do is we'll stop sharing the screen and we'll go into an open conversation. Tim, anything else to share before we drop this screen?
No, let's jump into a Q&A if anybody has any questions. And if not, let's get out there and serve people.
I love it. Good. So any questions for Cathy Ryan or Tim Yates or myself? Any questions that we can help you with in your current business? This is the participation part. What do you got, Cathy? Anything you can add to what we've talked about today?
Well, what Tim talked about, that is a huge thing to go out and outreach to your clients. Not only that, but your whole sphere. It's not just the people that you've been working with, it's your sphere. Because I know that I pulled up my track. I live in a 55 and older track in Menifee, and there's 450 homes here in this track, and there's less than 10 people that have trusts.
Wow. So there you go. Look at that. Those numbers don't lie.
So it's a farming tool. It's a way to start conversations. It's a way to get in touch with your database, especially if you haven't talked to them in a while. And the best book I could recommend is Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall,
Mhm.
about reaching out to your database and working your sphere. It's phenomenal, that action plan. And besides the expireds, besides the for sale by owners, besides all these other niches, that should be your go-to right there, because people are going to work with people they know, like, and trust.
Amen.
And they're going to refer you before they work with anybody else. So you want to stay top of mind and stay in touch with them. And this is just another way to do that.
Amen. And I tell you, it's just I look at it as ClickFunnels, FSBOs, ClickFunnel, expireds and canceled, ClickFunnel, pre-foreclosure, ClickFunnel. Your database, huge. If you do not call your database, someone else is going to. Just know that for fact. So I think it's a great idea. We need to make sure we're how to eat that elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
There's 26 letters in the dictionary, and there's 52 weeks in the year. Call them twice a year minimum. So I think it's great. So Cathy, thank you so much. And Tim, anything else to add regarding you have your Tuesday mastermind, and you have some other trainings coming up. But more importantly, Tim, I would love to hear your take on the open house strategy, how you're using that, and what's that tool like at an open house? Give us a little feedback on that.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I struggle with. I have so many things that I can't wait to roll out, and when I'm rolling these out, we are systematizing all of this, you guys. So I want you to understand too. It's not just giving you this verbal discussion about what you should do. We're going to give you the tools to deploy it, and the systems and the technology to deploy these relationship building legacy systems. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold off specifically on the open house one, because
Okay.
what I do want to say is, one example of what we're doing to help you guys leverage us when it comes to estate planning is twice a month. Robert and I are hosting an estate planning 101 power course. It's 30 minutes long. It's a live webinar, and it's going to be on a Tuesday and a Thursday spread out each month from 6 to 6:30. All you have to do is invite people. And then we do all the heavy lifting. We do all the follow-up. We do everything that we need to connect you guys. So I sent out, if you're part of our network right now, you got an email that was sent out this morning with a packet that you can follow. It has different emails that you can choose from, a different text message you can choose from to invite people. All you have to do is invite people. We're making it so simple. Invite people to the event. Let us educate them, and let us make you look like rock stars. And let us utilize that system to refer you more deals. So for right now, next Thursday is the big estate planning 101 event. And then every Tuesday, Robert and I host an event to explain Legacy Listings Pro system, this system, why an agent would want to sign up on this.
Yeah.
But if you're already here right now, you're already getting a big flavor, a big touch of it right now. If you're not part of it yet, scan that QR code that Robert showed, get yourself into the system, get yourself approved, and then let us help you build your business to new heights.
And Tim, one last thing, it doesn't cost anything to become approved. It's just a vetting process. That's it. So It doesn't cost anything. So nothing to sell here. Keep your wallet at home.
Yep, exactly.
And God, you know what? I really like to put a challenge out there for everybody listening to this. I challenge you to call 100 people in your database and track and measure the numbers of how many of those folks do not have a living trust. Run your own numbers. And if nothing else, it'll force you to make 100 calls to your database and touch base, say hi, how are things going? By the way, I'm doing a study. Do you have a living trust? I'm not selling anything. I'm just doing a study. And I bet you come up with the same numbers, if not greater.
I got a story
Go
um,
for it.
a- about this. So I got a listing from a cash offer request, and it just so happened to be in a trust. The one of the brothers lived in the property with the mom. The mom passed away, and there were two other brothers, and one of them was the executor of the trust. If they did not have a trust and it went through probate, it would have been a nightmare because the brother living in the property didn't want to move, didn't want to sell, didn't want to do what his mother's wishes were. But everything was in that trust, so it was all taken care of. I mean, it got pretty ugly to where I had J-Dog moving out stuff, J-Dog junk removal. And they were there, the brothers got into a fist fight and the police had to be called. And when I tell you it was ugly, it was ugly. So you having a trust in a property, especially for the family and keeping to what the parents' wishes are, it's a huge thing.
I love it. You know, and I think that's at the end of the day, our goal, and that's why we, Cathy, Tim, and I wanted to bring this kind of product to you. Uh, we just want to help you be introduced to awesome opportunities. We want to be efficient and effective with our business. We're going to share how to take more listings with FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures, how to have conversations through scripted conversations, whether it be cash offers, default, whatever. We want to help you as a tool. So this is everything we do is geared around working with sellers. But here's one thing I think it's important, Cathy, and I think you'll agree. When you take a new listing, Cathy had 884 people to her open house. That's an amazing amount of people. That's not always like that. So, but can you imagine if you had half of that?
Yeah.
What would your life be like? When you create listings, they create more listing opportunities. You create a bunch of buyer opportunities. You create a tremendous amount of investor opportunities and interest. And then you get to bring agents onto your team to help you grow and build and scale. So our focus is more about the getting the listings and everything else will come. Kind of a field of dreams thing. You build it, they will come. So that's what you're going to expect every week, every Friday, 10 a.m. I'm going to put in the chat box we have we do a live podcast every Wednesday called More Listings Mastermind Podcast. I'm going to go ahead and type that into the chat box. Be sure to join us. There's no registration. You can just click the link and join us. Cathy put in her class in the chat, and we'll certainly send an email reminder to everybody. If you could actually go in, because some of you I don't have your emails. If you can put in your email, if you want to be added to the list on Fridays, we'll add you to the list. But I only want to add people that want to be added. So if you put your email address in the chat box, we'll go ahead and add you to the weekly meeting. And we get it. Sometimes you get busy, you got things going on, but I would do your best effort to make sure that it's a consistency on your schedule. Like Cathy mentioned earlier, if it's not in your schedule, it's probably not going to happen. Like prospecting needs to be on your calendar. I personally have wake up as the first thing every day on my calendar, and I have go to bed as the last thing. So what is your day like from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed? How impactful is it? And you just want to make sure you're being efficient and effective for your business. So that's what I want to close with. Cathy, what would you like to say to everybody before we let them get back to work and prospecting?
There are days where you don't feel like doing anything, and especially prospecting. I heard this from a coach many years ago. Do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at the highest level.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep at it because it's the compound effect. You keep doing it and grinding it every day, and eventually things will come. And then another thing that one of my brokers had said many years ago too was, "What you do today is a paycheck 4 months from now."
You know what? That is couldn't be more true. What we do today affects tomorrow for sure. And I
Hmm.
tell you what, it takes some time for us to meet with that client, put them in escrow, put them under contract, get it closed. There's some timing. We are filling up next month and the month after is pipeline by the prospecting we do today. So Cathy, thank you for those kind words. Thank you for just being a great resource. I've got Jen's email. I've got Elon's email. We're going to go ahead and get these saved. We're going to get you onto that list. Thank you so much. Tim, what would you like to say in closing before we get back to prospecting?
Let's get back to prospecting.
Oh, that's, you know what? Couldn't be said better. Cathy, Tim, can you hang tight? Everybody, have a great day. Tune in next Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. You just go to morenowlistings.com. Just join us every week. Just don't keep this a secret. Tell your friends, your family, and everybody else. And remember, guys, we'll see you in escrow.